Was it all just a dream?
We're also watching Netflix shares. They're at an all-time high.
The stock is up 60%.
We haven't seen anybody really challenge Netflix.
In the darkest of days, when one company controlled all video streaming entertainment, one platform would rise to save us all.
YoutubeRed.
YoutubeRed.
YoutubeRed is a premium service.
We're talking real money and real budgets, producing real content.
My initial review of everything so far is I kind of dig it.
They are going to have a 30-day free trial period.
It was an instant success. People all around the world flocked to see the shows that raised the bar for online entertainment. The writers received multiple Critics' Choice Awards. YouTube stock shot up and became the hottest thing on the market, and shortly afterwards Netflix declared itself bankrupt. YouTubers became the new superstars. Keemstar ran for president and won.
And God blessed the United States of a killer Keemstar.
North Korea even decided to make peace just to get in on the hype. The world was changed for the better, and all thanks to one woman and her game-changing ideas, Susan Wojcicki. If all this seemed too good to be true, well, it was.
I had a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. There's a lot of things I should have done differently, but I didn't.
I've been dating your brother like forever, and I've known you since braces. We're basically blood twins.
And for that, from the bottom of my heart, I'm sorry.
It all started about 2 years ago. A new platform called YouTubeRed made its debut and people started to speculate on what it was going to be. Some people thought it would be the next Netflix with real TV shows and movies starring our favourite creators. Some thought it would just be YouTube videos with a bigger budget. The only thing certain was no one knew what to expect. Then it was released, and nothing. No one cared. In almost 2 years since its release, there has not been one show that has garnered any kind of hyper attention in mainstream media. Usually the way these streaming sites get people on board is to have a few select shows that get spread so quickly through word of mouth, people buy your service just to be in the loop. But nothing on this site ever made it into the mainstream, and if it did, it was always for controversial reasons. I mean, I know I'm not the target audience for most of this stuff, but I usually hear about something if it's blowing up either way, even if I wish I didn't. So a total failure, right? Yeah. Okay, now let's find something to talk shit on. Okay, admittedly there's quite a lot of content on here, but it's all virtually indistinguishable from each other. It all falls into the category of just silly comedy. I know the show I wanted to start with, I can't remember what it's called. It's like a Gossip Girl thing. I mean, maybe they removed it. I mean, maybe one of the actors said the N-word or something. Wait, this might be it.
If there's one thing I've learned, whether it's high school or the real world, it's that the only way to get respect is to take it.
So I'm smelling a gender war.
Bring it on.
That's why I wanted to start with this show.
Remember, the key is getting power first. Then when you're on top, you can make change happen. Maybe we should do something a little more than protest. What do you want me to do?
Wait till you see what I got.
What?
The administration has been watching us.
Youth and Consequences is a show aimed at teenage girls.
So I guess homecoming's toast.
Not like you had a date anyway.
And dumb people. It's basically about one super popular girl. So popular that basically everyone in the school copies everything she does. And she just goes around demonstrating how popular she is. Yeah, that's about it. After watching the first episode, I can't honestly say what the show is supposed to be in the long form. Most shows would set up a premise and a formula, so after watching the first one you have a reason to watch the next one, and there's 6 more after that. Maybe apart from one interesting subplot, I have no idea who any of these characters are or care what's going to happen to them.
I get to go first.
Oh, wow.
Who did it? Okay. In 3rd grade, I got proposed to, and my answer was when I'm 19. 19.
It's probably a girl.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like Savannah.
I feel like Savannah.
It's aiming to be a kind of highbrow political thriller, if you can believe that. Like House of Cards or West Wing, right? But set in a high school, which is a pretty cool idea, Certainly put in the right hands, it would have made for an interesting premise. But as I will explain later, it completely misses this opportunity and chooses to be one of the most cliche, run-of-the-mill TV shows for kids. And yeah, I know it's for kids, but what excuse is that when you have shows like SpongeBob, Recess, Drake or Josh? But anyway, let's get into this thing. So here we're introduced to Farah Kutney, played by YouTube star Anna Akana. Anna Akana, I almost said something else there. And for those of you who are uninitiated, she does
Her last breath slowly fills up her lungs.
Okay, so it seems to be like a poetry thing about coping with sadness. Yeah, it's pretty respectable. I mean, it's pretty deep. I thought it would just be dick jokes.
This is your dick.
Ooh. In all fairness, she's actually more qualified than most of the actors in these shows. She's actually produced and directed and starred in her own show called Miss 2059.
Arden?
What are you doing? Get over here, we can't kill them all! Victoria, no!
Victoria, I miss you.
Clearly a sequel to Blade Runner 2049. She was even in Ant-Man, granted only a minor role, but she still shows potential.
High school is just one big buzzsaw that grinds people up into little bite-sized pieces. Some people just do a better job at avoiding the teeth.
So that basically sets the tone for the whole show. All the dialogue is written thinking it just put Aaron Sorkin in his place. Like it's trying to be this, ooh, gotcha kind of response, but it's hardly reaches close to that.
That's Sarah Hurley. She and I almost didn't make it as friends because of the Sarah and Farah annoyance. So I got the whole school to call her Hurley.
So we find out the school hasn't opened yet, and everyone is waiting to find out why by checking the school news site called The Crotch.
The Crotch is this entity that everyone fears but can't turn away from. And it gets passed along to some anonymous student every year. The name itself, while crass, is at least classic. Central, C, Rochester, Roch, hence, Crotch.
Which is basically just a rip-off of Gossip Girl, like they changed the name and made the interface more shitty.
Then again, the Crotch has always been nice to me.
Hey, James. We have police action. The hell? The last update is still the Stacey Moorhead story.
What story? That her last name turned out to be a prophecy?
Nah, about her nose job.
So after deciding to end the fashion trend she set after everyone in school copied her, Farah discovers why the school was closed.
What happened?
Yeah, I love how the smart, snidey, quick-witted comedy is contrasted by the stock record scratch effect. Like this is Big Time Rush or something.
Well, this day just got interesting.
So then the actual title sequence starts and it's eerily similar to another theme, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. After being shook by the incident, the gang decide to go to the optional trauma counselling.
Are you not at all curious what a tragedy workshop looks like?
No.
We are then introduced to the antagonist of the show, head teacher and Julianne Moore impressionist Principal Cower, and in a matter of seconds, we experienced a level of sadness the death of the guidance counsellor has brought on this woman.
Read something like this.
Also, side note, they have this session for the whole school and you only put out 30 chairs. Also, another side note, this session lasted about 30 seconds. Was it worth gathering them just for this?
How you're feeling?
Obviously, becoming the it topic isn't rocket surgery. Chisel a bump off the beak or drop a three-way video, same result. People talk about you and perception is reality.
But right before the workshop is over, the Crotch decides to drop a bombshell. Turns out the cause of death of the guidance counsellor was hanging. On the principal, she's just not having it.
I hate the Crotch.
So now we start to get into what I imagine is the hook of the show.
Not even a hanging Chadwick can stop student council elections, which means someone needs my vote.
So there's a student presidential election taking place while all this is happening, and we get to see how intricate the power dynamic of the political landscape in this high school really is.
I saw Ilo out there this morning working Dipankar hard.
Should. Dip's a wild card. Kid controls the Indian bloc and techs half the school's laptops.
You know, I heard Ilo secured the Comcons this morning, and he sat with the Lakebits at lunch yesterday.
What? What could Ilo possibly promise the LGBTs?
I'm not sure, but the vote's Thursday. Don't you think we should make a deal with him before he runs away with it?
And as interesting as it could be, it's so poorly done in so many ways. Like, before you start having these characters strategizing about people and groups we haven't even been introduced yet, how about you just get to know these characters first? Like, the main girl, as cool as the show wants you to think she is, she really isn't that cool at all. She isn't smart or powerful, at least to us she isn't, because we haven't seen her be any of these things. You've told us she's these things, sure, but this is the fundamental problem with this. Any great movie or show allows you to feel the same kind of admiration or respect, or the same kind of hatred for a character that everyone else in the show feels about them.
I have to take it. I want to go to a good college so I can have a fruitful life.
They usually do this by having the character demonstrate their traits so you can judge this for yourself. The first 5 minutes of Baby Driver, we see how good Baby Driver is. Baby Driver. Same with The Dark Knight, we see how clever the Joker's plan was to rob the bank and get away with all the money for himself. So just have a couple of scenes of her showing she's smart. Like at the start, show her talk a stranger into giving her that parking space, you know. Show her watching Rick and Morty, you know, something to let us know how intelligent she is. And this character, forget about it, there's nothing happening with her. So without any context as to why these people care about power, how they've achieved it, what they're capable of, you know, it's totally uninteresting. But either way, they're going to investigate into the dead counsellor's mysterious incident, and Farah has a revelation about the mystery.
Did you know that Chadwick's office has a private bathroom?
So yeah, if you can't tell already, we're getting one of these title cards for every character now because we couldn't have guessed from the subtle costume design that Colin is a nerd.
Can you move your knapsack?
It's a ball sack, actually. It's supposed to be funny.
It's not. It's juvenile and asinine. The crotch. The crotch. The crotch. Crotch. Crotch.
Also, I wonder why they introduced this seemingly innocent, unpopular kid. Surely he won't be revealed to be anything special later. That would be a crazy twist. Meanwhile, in the teacher's lounge, these two are furious about the crotch leaking the classified information. I mean, this one, she's just not having it.
We need to get this kid under control. He undermines everything we do around here. I'm telling you, we need to come up with another plan to take this kid out.
Hang on, what did you just say?
He undermines everything we do around here.
She just said he. Like, how does she know it's a guy? As if it wasn't already obvious enough. I mean, why don't they just stick one of those title cards up that says crotch underneath, you know? Back in the cafeteria, the gang are actually playing bridge. And it looks like the writers actually took on my advice about showing her intelligence.
It's not just dumb luck. To win takes an acute ability to read people.
For heart.
That split-second eye meant Jane with the Y stretched her bridge bid too far.
But before she has time to finish her game, she discovers one of the presidential candidates is secretly giving out vodka to secure votes.
Trump card.
Figured the line was too long, so I brought a few over.
We're on a cleanse.
Okay.
Well, that was nice of him. Nice doesn't win our vote. Vodka?
How'd you know?
Farah has a sneaking suspicion as to who might be behind this stunt.
Where'd he get all that booze from?
Where do you think?
I am McLovin.
So she calls up the town bad boy, hookup, for a meeting.
Must be pretty important to get the outdoor treatment.
What's that got to do with anything? Are you only allowed outside when she summons you to meet her? But it turns out this guy's backing both candidates, so no matter who wins, he gets saying how the school is run.
Of course. You're backing both. So what did you offer Hope?
The stoners.
That dipshit agreed to that? Yeah. It's unprovable. She has no way of knowing if you delivered or not. Very slimy.
It's actually no slimier than waiting to back someone to the very end of the race just so you can leverage the most last-minute desperation. Wonder who Stacey Moorhead is voting for. You know, her nose has a higher Q rating than you right now.
Oh.
Just admit it. You also want the president in your back pocket. You're just waiting on the best possible deal.
I think you're confusing strategy with apathy.
She returns to HQ, but someone has taken her seat. It's none other than Stacey Moorhead, former best friend. And through the power of personal insults, she gets her to leave them alone.
Well, it is cute as a little button. And so natural. I forgot what your old one looked like. What was wrong with it again? Farah? Oh, right. I had a little bump right here. And weren't your nostrils a little different too?
I had a deviated septum.
Good for you for having the guts to go through major surgery instead of just living the way that you were. Really brave. So brave. Bless her heart.
Whoa, hold up, did you get that? Did you see that? Well, you better had, because that split-second transition shot actually comes back into play later. As you do, Farah heads to the dead guy's office to meet with one of the candidates to discuss policy changes in exchange for her vote.
So Hope, I heard Ilo teed up to pink her gosh this morning. First the Comic-Cons, now the Indians, and I'm hearing he's moving on the Ligbits. You're getting killed in the minority vote. Tell me you have a plan.
I've got the knitters and the dramas. I've been working other angles too.
Like who? The stoners? Ilo's vodka stunt just won their drunk asses. The way I see it, you need me.
But Farah's intentions aren't as clear as they may seem.
I want your speech to propose using last year's budget surplus to turn the scene of this horrible tragedy into something positive.
Like what?
A private handicap bathroom.
I get losing the curry and fag blocks are big, but why would I go for the retard and wheelie vote? I mean, that's like 2 people, and not the most reliable ones at that.
Let me get back to you.
Okay, bye. I get losing the curry and fag blocks are big.
Nighty-night, Hope.
Yeah, I love how quickly she found that exact part of the recording. So it turns out the kid who runs the crotch is actually the son of the principal, and for some reason this 17-year-old lives in a camper van outside his mum's house.
I didn't feel like working out my feelings in a room full of people I barely know.
Fair enough. Probably for the best. I didn't have a clue what to say up there.
I'm sure whatever you said helped.
Sure what she said helped? She spoke for about 10 seconds, told people if they wanted help to find it somewhere else, then turned around and left.
Mom? You didn't see Chadwick up there, did you?
Thank God, no.
I wouldn't crawl up there. Why? Okay.
Any idea why he did it?
None.
I'm sorry today sucked so bad.
Thanks. Me too.
Okay, as much as I hate to admit it, this is a good bit of drama, you know? I mean, nothing's happened yet, but I can just see it being so goddamn sad when she finds out. Yeah, the dialogue's terrible and the scene is super awkward, but these two are the only good people in the whole school, and I just don't want to see anything come between them. I can picture the season finale of her finding out. She goes into the camper van and finds the laptop on the counter with the crotch app open. Then he walks in and he's like, "It's not what it looks like." And then she gets furious and storms out.
Brinks Home Security. Rapid response and peace of mind for your home or business. Call now.
Cut to Farah's room, which has to be the most lazy set design so far. And someone called Will hits her up. I have no idea if this is going to come into play later. I mean, I can only assume it's supposed to be comic relief because he used an eggplant emoji.
When it comes to the balance of power at Central Rochester, having the school wired helps, but sometimes you don't just need to go to the source, you need to control it.
Saint Hope? Really?
Someone feeling a little irrelevant? Not enough chatter about you today?
So after the crotch releases a puff piece on Hope, Elo vents his frustration to her friend?
Everybody's gonna think Hope's like this great person now. I mean, it's a game changer. I'm just pissed I didn't think of it first. Pull into the garage.
Why do I always have to pull into the garage?
So yeah, I'm just going to skip this whole affair plot because there's really nothing interesting about it. So it turns out Farah and Colin are actually quite good friends, so they just hang out in his camper van and shoot the shit for a while.
What if I tell you something that will blow the doors off the school?
Now, why would I make that deal when you're clearly dying to tell me anyway?
It's big.
How big?
Chamber big.
Okay, last time you said that.
I know, okay, but this one is worth it.
They even have a little ritual for exchanging secrets.
When we first started our unholy alliance, neither of us trusted that the other wasn't taping our chats. So Cower came up with this chamber of trust solution.
So, when I first saw this, I had to assume that they were secretly hooking up, which is the only logical explanation as to why they shower together. But what the show is actually going for is that because they don't trust each other, they shower naked together so they can discuss their secrets without the risk of being recorded by the other one. And the scene is super awkward. I mean, I can think of a million ways to avoid doing this, like the thing they do in The Firm, where you blast music really loud, for example. But this kid convinced her the only way to discuss a secret is to strip and get in the shower with him naked. This kid's a fucking genius.
What did you learn that'll blow the doors off the school?
Guess what Mr. Chadwick was doing when he accidentally hung himself? You've heard of autoerotic asphyxiation, right?
After hearing the intimate details of Chadwick's demise and thinking about how devastated his family would be if they ever found out, walking in to find my dad's stuff in boxes didn't really faze me.
Oh, so sad!
The next day rolls around and we get a random scene just to remind us how popular they are. Great. Then she does the same thing as before with the other candidate, where she asks for the dead teacher's office to be turned into a handicapped bathroom. To be fair, I can't actually see where they're going with this. I mean, they don't reveal it at the end of the episode, so I assume it's revealed later in the season, so I guess we'll just have to find out later. And by that point, the candlelit vigil has started, which actually involves no candles, just smartphones with a candle JPEG showing. Both candidates give their speeches to help win over the crowd. I mean, it's kind of funny when you see the family, but they kind of ruin it.
Before we do this, are you sure we should post it? It's not just gonna lose hope the election.
She's about to have her a cappella group sing See You Again.
Posting now.
Oh well, if she won't do it, we will. So in a turn of events, Pharaoh and Colin conspire to release the damning audio of Hope insulting the disabled on the crotch. They even blast it through the intercom for the whole school to hear.
I get losing the curry and fag blocks are big, but why would I go for the retard and wheelie vote? I mean, that's like 2 people and not the most reliable.
Okay. Mrs. Chadwick must have been willfully blind.
You never know. I mean, he could have kept his kink totally separate. Pursue any weirdness at the office far from where...
I was totally enjoy watching this show, and now I addicted to it. It gave me many emotion as well as how life was. What I saying is not necessary like it give a whole bunch of life lesson in once because I knew it will get bored in a minute or so. But instead, they was expressed it through the acting in every episode, which personally, I loved it a lot. I never found a series like this one that make both level of enjoy and understanding at the same.
He tucks his kitties in at night with their stuffed animals.
Holy shit. Here comes the big cliffhanger, guys. Holy shit, that music. Colin's talk about stuffed animals actually caused her to realise that the line in Chadwick's office was actually a hidden camera. So she steals it as well as his laptop. Not sure why the police didn't take that for evidence, you know. Like one would assume a suicide note could be on there or something, maybe. They make a run for it, but she sees her friend getting it on with the presidential candidate.
I'm the president.
I screwed up. I knew that prick was using Hurley and I did nothing to stop it.
I still don't get why Farrah takes this as such a bad thing. Like, apparently he's used...
Okay, correction. That's not actually her friend, that's someone else that he's cheating on her. He's cheating on her friend with this person. And that's why she's upset. I completely missed that the first time because they're pretty much identical looking. And I just didn't really do a good job of explaining it, so that's my bad, my mistake. On with the show.
But basically, because she doesn't want Elo to get the presidency anymore, she decides she's going to make the girl from the bake sale poster the new student president.
I'm looking for her.
Who is that?
Grace Ho, our next student council president.
So if you're underwhelmed by that, don't feel alone. Like, the dramatic effect they're going for is completely lost when the entire setup for the ending is a split-second shot of the girl on a poster midway through the episode. And they expect you to give a shit about watching the next one to see if she becomes president. But anyway, that's the end of it. So Youth and Consequences does admittedly have some things going for it. Some of the actors do their best with the material and often end up making a horrible character somewhat likeable. Anna Akana does pretty much carry the whole thing, even though her dialogue isn't close to being as witty as it wants it to be. Like, her personality shines through in places, but the rest, it's just another shit show. It really is far too cliche and completely not self-aware. The Mean Girls template has been tired for years now, and this does nothing to spice it up at all. Also, the blatant rip-off of shows like Gossip Girl and Orange is the New Black all but confirms the corporatism behind the creative process of these YouTube originals. The director they chose for this clearly specialises in appealing to this audience, because she's directed and edited shows like Ugly Betty, Sex and the City, Pretty Little Liars, Orange is the New Black. She also edited Roger and Me, a film by Michael Moore, who coincidentally was the guy who made the film Fahrenheit 9/11, which was the film I was parodying at the start of this video. They're both great movies, by the way. The idea of this over-the-top political drama with a twist of being set in a high school is really an interesting idea, and if it was given to a talented filmmaker who could bring a unique vision to it, you know, it could have made for a great show. When I watch this, I'm constantly thinking of the film Brick, and how a noir visual style and over-the-top dialogue was used in that to contrast the otherwise boring school location. The film's given an old-school treatment which allows the drama between these kids to feel really important, while also being self-aware enough to make fun of how silly it is, which is what could have saved this story from being utterly obnoxious and self-important. But all things considered, from what I can tell, I imagine this is actually one of the better shows on YouTubeRed. I've seen bits of the Buddy System by Good Mythical Morning, I'm pretty sure that was terrible too. It broke from BuzzFeed, oh boy. Do I have things to say about that piece of shit? There's honestly a ton of shit on this website, and I could honestly spend hours talking about it. And that's what I'm gonna do. If you watch this to the end and you have any ideas for another YouTubeRed show that would be good to rip to shreds, then let me know somehow. Wait, there's more? Turns out this is a two-parter, holy shit. I'm gonna start my free trial now. I can't wait to see if Ela breaks up with Susan. This has been out for 2 years, and you've only made it available in 6 countries. This is the thing about YouTubeRed. It's designed to always be on the brink of becoming available. But its object is not victory in bringing content to the people, but to keep the very structure of mediocrity intact.
In terms of the memes, keyboard cat or sneezing panda?
Probably keyboard cat.
For once, we agreed.
So should investors just buy Netflix and chill? Mike, Netflix and chill, can that compete with the chill in Minneapolis right now?
Sabrina, don't just stare at it, eat it.